up, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. We're over here at Bryan's B&K Performance. We're gonna get his motor back in his car today, working on his hot rod. So check this thing out. So y'all saw in the last video, we about blowed the door off of it, but I didn't show y'all in the video. This thing is cracked. Randy, why is the door cracked?
It's my fault.
I did not show that in the video. I edited it out. Yeah, when we were at Shady Side, guys, I did a really smoky burnout. And Randy normally is in front of the car, and I thought he was in front of the car. I wasn't paying attention, though, honestly. And so I done a really smoky burnout, so I flung the door open to the side, slung it open, and started backing up felt like about 80 miles per hour. And Randy was standing there looking back, trying to make sure I was in the groove, and it about knocked Randy down. Luckily, Randy's a big dude, and he could hold his own, and it just cracked the door. But it's getting worse, so Bryan's going to fix that today while we are shoving his motor in. So he spun a bearing last time y'all saw him out at Rockingham. Had an issue down there. Had to line hone and bore the block, and had to, turn down the crankshaft to get some clearance in it. We don't really know what happened, what the actual issue was. But anyway, he finally got this motor back together a couple weeks ago, but he's been slammed. So we're going to slam this thing in the race car real fast. And yes, this is a 68 Mustang. It is all steel. Sweet. So he'll be back at the track. Hopefully, if his back is feeling better, he'll be at the track tomorrow with us. It might not be, though, but at least the hot rod will be running. All right, let's shove this thing in real fast. Randy, update on your car. We're still waiting on... I've had about 10 people ask about Randy's on the update. Randy's are still waiting on Jezel rocker. We're waiting on Jezel. They had to do some custom stuff on the rocker arm, so we're still waiting on them. So hopefully in the next week or two. So they're making final finishing touches here. Had a bunch of people come over and start helping, which is awesome. I think it's about ready to go. So I shortened up the time lapse a little bit for you guys. So we put the motor in, and since I'm an idiot, I don't know anything about LS's. We took it off the stand, put the flex plate on it, dropped it in the car, and Bryan said, "Y'all did put on the bolts on the back oil plate, right?" And I said, "I don't know what you're talking about." And so we pulled the motor back out, and it went in silky smooth, by the way, that first time. And so the second time going in, torque converter apparently pulled out, so it didn't go in. So we pulled the motor back out again, and then we put the torque converter in, slid it back in, and it didn't go in for some reason. Was the torque converter in?
Yep.
Was that the third time? So we pulled it back out again. I said a few words that cannot be on YouTube, and then we put it back in, got it all slid together, and now they're doing final touches. The other thing, this header over here, the way he did this to make it all fit, this header on the passenger side comes all the way down, and it is like solid. It's only got one V-band connection on it completely. So it is, it was a little tough to get that on. But he's about got it done. Michael Britt's got to race Street Invaders and a 28x10 race at 7:10 on Sunday. So we may be trying to hit that up. My car, Shannon was over here earlier. He said he possibly may go. I don't know if he's going or not. I think somebody said that Coleman Heath may go. So me, Bryan, Coleman, Shannon. There'll probably be a good crowd out there. So we'll see how it goes. So let's crank this thing up in a second. What all was left? Oil is, and then what? Prime the fuel system, and that's it. And this thing usually busts off pretty fast since that's an LS motor. It's got the integrated cam up here, and it's got the integrated crank sensor back here in the back. So normally it fires up pretty good. Watch, this time it's not, since I jinxed it. I jinxed it. I hope not. All right, let's see what it does. All All right, so they're doing the final little finishing touches, and they're ready. I'm fixing to put the front end extenders on mine. We got mine jacked up real good. It's on jack stands, so it is safe. I'm gonna jack it up. I'm gonna drop this down. I'll show y'all exactly what I'm gonna do on this one. But hopefully, we're ready to roll here soon. Okay. Got good oil pressure?
Idle's 30 and Rabbit's 80.
Boy, that methanol is strong. It fired up. It's a brake clean, baby, though. The brake clean didn't, it fired right up. All right, that's a good thing. So you'll fire it up in a minute and try to go through the gears and make sure everything's good on it. Okay, guys, so I got the strut out of here. There are some people that talk about you can just move that caster camber plate under the bottom, which looks feasible. But I think I'm much. Bryan said that's what he does. It looks like a pain in the butt, though. It doesn't look like there's much room. So to do this, like I was talking about doing with my spacer, you see I got the spring apart here that's sitting here. And so I had a couple spacers. But what I've got to do is essentially this spacer and this spacer. So I'm going to have two spacers on it, and then my nut, and then my spacer is going to screw onto there. And then this is completely going to tighten to where I can get with the spring so I can get full travel. Okay, I think that's what we're going to try, unless he can convince me real fast that it's easier to swap those caster camber plates down. All right, guys, well, we got my spacer made. This is exactly what I was envisioning. I don't know if y'all were or not, but this is going to be a lot more travel potentially. So down here, we got this thing bolted together. So it is actually bolted together. We had to get this spacer on here again. So spacer, nut, and this is actually tight. So now I run that all the way down to the very, very, very bottom. So we'll see how much this compresses. If this does not compress enough, or if the ride height is, too high with this on, then I'll have to get a weaker spring. This is a 150, 150 spring. So it might need like a 125 or 130, 120. So let's put this together and see what we got. And that's just simply going to thread right on. The only downfall to doing this is my extension is in the middle of this strut that normally sticks out through the top. So I've got it on full tight. You've only got three turns of full or of adjustment. And I generally run that thing on full tight anyway. So there it is. We're gonna put this on there, shove it up in there. My caster camber plate was too big to go up under the bottom. So we're gonna try this and see what happens. That's a lot more extension than what I thought. Maybe I should have made this a little shorter. All right, we'll see. Okay, we did run into a problem. So luckily I'm on the first side here. But so with this thing up here. And when I get this thing stuck on the spindle here, someone mentioned this and sent me an email, I think, but the tie rod end is actually binding. So it is binding up when it goes all the way in. And you can see it. It just hits right there, and it's close, but that right there, the tie rod end is binding right there. So that is, I think they call it a high offset or high travel tie rod end. That's what I'm gonna have to get. It's just a different type of knuckle there, and it allows it just basically has some extenders on it. I can't remember what it's called. That was a good point. He called it. So I'm gonna see if I can come up with another way to get a little bit more travel here without using these spacers right now. Okay, phase number 2 of getting more. So what I'm gonna do, and yes, these are being a little bit, I am going to take this off. There's not enough room under the bottom of the caster, under the bottom of the strut tower here to get this on there. But if I flip this upside down, just this one piece, if I flip this one piece here upside down, so this is down, that should give me about another inch of travel. So that's what we're gonna do for right now, for tonight. All right, guys, well, mine is back on the ground. We got ride height back set, and it's got about an inch of travel just by flipping those over. So we just checked tow. Tow is in like we wanted it at full travel. So we're pretty close, I think. So we're gonna try it at 710 tomorrow. We'll see what happens. All right, guys, y'all comment, like, and subscribe. We're gonna try to get some wind lights tomorrow.